Hello, and here we are with a example of problem 3 from your week 11 MyStatsLab homework. Let's go ahead and dig in. So in this problem we have classified ads in a newspaper that offered several used cars of the same make and model. And here we have our list of the ages and the advertised prices for these cars here. So part A of this problem ask us to make a scatter plot. So we're going to highlight our data. We'll click on Insert, Scatter, first one here, and there we have it. Simple enough, huh? So here's our scatter plot for our data of ages and prices advertised for the car. So that's part A. Part B asks us, do you think a linear model is appropriate? And we can look at our scatter plot, look at it being linear and negative in a pretty strong way, so we can say a linear model is appropriate. Part C asks us to find the equation of the regression line. And as we recall, our equation y hat equals BO plus B1 times X, where B is the constant and B2 is the coefficient, B1 is the coefficient of the age of the car X. So now we need to do a little linear regression. And let's do it from here, and we'll let it post in another worksheet. So again, we have our data. This is what we're going to be using. So we can go to our Data tab, click on Data Analysis, and go scroll through here. There is regression. Okay, and now we can load our data here. It asks us for our Y range first. Then our X range. We can click that there are labels there. We'll let it put it in a new worksheet so we have some room there. We'll need residuals. We'll look at the residual plots, and let's also do the normal probability plot. So everything we need for regression analysis is here. Click OK. And here we are in a new worksheet. Our regression analysis, what we're needing here are these two numbers here, our intercept and the age, so that we can put them in our formula. Let's give ourselves a little room here, and we can say y hat is going to equal, and our intercept of 12139, and we have a negative, so we will say minus, and we'll round that to 842x. So there we have it. There's our equation. Now we also have our normal probability plot and our residual plot also that we went ahead and created. So part D of our problem, we need to check the residuals to see if the conditions for inference are met. So let's go down the list. The straight enough condition is met by looking at the scatter plot. Well, let's go back to sheet 1, look at our scatter plot. Straight enough? I think so. Part 2, the independence assumption can also be met by looking at the scatter plot to make sure there is no evidence of patterns, trends, or clumping. It seems to be fairly independent to me. What do you think? So let's move on to assumption 3, and we'll go back to our residual plot and our normal probability plot here. The equal variance assumption can be checked by looking at the scatter plot of the residuals. The assumption is satisfied if the spread of the scatter plot is nearly constant. And it's somewhat constant, maybe not perfectly, but doesn't look too bad. And now we can move on to part 4. The nearly normal condition can be checked by examining a histogram or a normal probability plot. And what we're trying to see is if these are reasonably unimodal and symmetric. Well, that looks pretty much uniform and in pretty good shape there. So the normal probability plot tells us that. But let's go ahead and do a histogram of the residuals. We have our residuals here. And just for fun, let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is copy our residuals. Let's go over to sheet 2. Paste them here. And let's just go ahead and create a histogram. It'll be good for practice anyway. And see what we come up with. So we can start off by inserting our pivot table. The data is already highlighted there, so we can put it in our existing worksheet. Click OK. Whoops. Let's give it a place to go. How about right there? So here we are. We have our pivot table, our residuals here. So let's drag that down to the values. Left click. Click on values field settings. We'll click on count. Say OK. Now we'll pull our residuals down to the row labels. Now we have all of those there. Let's click on one of those. And up here we can click on group field. And it's pretty much grouped them. It's grouped them by 1,000. Let's just go ahead and let that be what we use. And we'll click OK. So we're going to go with this count. So now we need to insert our column. Go with the first one there. And here we go. We'll slide it down a little bit here. And if we click on the bars, now right click. We'll click on Format Data Series so that we can get rid of the gaps. Gap width down to 0. Close it out. And there's our histogram. Again, reasonably unimodal and symmetric. So there we have it. That's problem 3. We used several sheets here, but everything worked pretty well. I hope this will help you with your homework problem 3, and we'll see you the next time.